Our world has changed. We face greater challenges, and the wealth gap between the 1% and the rest of the 99% has immensely grown. It cannot be turned back unless we hit the reset button. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Danish, and I make personal finance, investing, and real estate topics easy to understand and keep up with. In this video, I'll go over exactly what is the Great Reset, what does it mean for you, and my thoughts on the Great Reset. 2020 has changed many aspects of our daily lives. Some have argued that this lifestyle change was inevitable. It's just been accelerated by COVID-19. My goal with this video is to explain the concept behind the Great Reset from an educational perspective and not from a political standpoint. I'll be honest with you, the Great Reset is not my area of expertise. But for you guys, I wanted to put in the effort to bring this content to you after receiving more than a few requests. This video, it was an interesting topic to research. It involved many hours of going through the various conspiracy theories, the various mysteries, and the research all behind the Great Reset. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're also curious to learn more about the Great Reset and what it really means for you. The Great Reset. It's essentially a proposal by the World Economic Forum to rebuild our fragile economy in a more sustainable approach as we look to move past the COVID-19 pandemic. It was unveiled by Prince Charles from the UK and Klaus Schwab, the director of the World Economic Forum. At this point, you might be wondering, who or what is this World Economic Forum? At its most basic core, this is an international organization built for public-private cooperation. They look at everything from political, business, cultural, and other social issues and present ideas to world leaders with the hopes of improving our world and our economic industries. In other words, make the world a better place. It is a non-for-profit organization headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. Going back to the proposal, the World Economic Forum is suggesting that we have a unique window of opportunity to shape the post-pandemic recovery, as world leaders are looking to determine the future state of global relations, direction of national economies, priorities of society, the nature of business models, and the management of global resources. You can see why this concept has been given such a bold title of the Great Reset. Everything is being looked at from a new lens. Some may interpret this as a one-way ticket to a new world order through big government socialism. Really depends on your view of our current economic affairs. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, is in full support of this reset. He had this to say.
Canada believes that a strong, coordinated response across the world and across sectors is essential. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
Justin Trudeau is not the only political leader in support of building a reimagined economy. US President-elect Joe Biden has also endorsed the idea of building back better, as has UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. As it stands right now, the pandemic has left people more or less in two camps. One, where there is significant economic damage, especially to service sectors and blue-collar jobs. Workers in this camp have seen their savings evaporate just to keep themselves afloat with rising unemployment. A lot of individuals here are struggling to make rent as their income levels have dried up. Many are getting eviction notices and some have already been evicted. You could be a freelancer or gig worker who saw contracts get terminated, meaning incomes went down while expenses, they continued. The pandemic, it has shifted the job market. It now favors technical skills that can be done remotely. Cashiers, retail staff, bank tellers, general laborers, these jobs just no longer translate with technological advancements. Think about the growth of contactless payments and getting everything delivered online as examples. The other camp, those who kept their jobs through the lockdowns, saw their savings level rise as their spending levels went down, mainly due to cuts in fine dining, entertainment, travel, areas that are covered by having access to a larger disposable income. Most of these jobs transitioned to work from home, which brought in much more flexibility. This is why we're seeing a boom in single-family homes in the suburbs, as a lot of these core urban center jobs are no longer tied to an office. This camp did well. More money, more flexibility, bigger homes. If you're in the tech sector, you did really well. Based on which camp you fall under, the Great Reset may mean different things to you. Meanwhile, critics of the Great Reset are saying that now is not the time to reimagine our economy or run experiments with our economic systems. Instead, we should be focusing our efforts on getting people back on their feet and safely back to work. Bring back jobs that were lost due to the pandemic so people can earn income, pay taxes, and contribute to the financial system. As someone who's worked in the financial sector for a very long time, I can tell you firsthand that this entire sector is built to benefit a subset of individuals. The financial sector is built on you either spending more money or borrowing more money, or better yet, borrowing more just to spend more money. The Great Reset, it would involve the government creating a new economy that works for the people and supposedly is much more stable than what we currently have in place. For this, you would have to place even more faith in our governments to take even more control from our lives, with the hope of making things better for you. Do you see why people would be nervous about this kind of idea and become skeptics? I'll be completely honest with you. I'm a big proponent of financial independence. I want control over my own money, so that way I don't have to rely on the government or employers to take care of me. Since when does having someone else take care of you work out better than relying on your own self to look after you? Having said that, the very nature of free market capitalism involves those who have more assets will continue to prosper, while those with more liabilities will continue to struggle. However the situation may be, the government has little or no control over how assets are divided. If the government were to take control of the entire economy, they could decide which businesses to support and which businesses go under. They can decide who can be in charge of assets and who cannot own any assets. Think of the COVID-19 lockdowns. The government can decide which regions to shut down, which businesses can stay open, and which jobs are essential. Does that make you feel more secure about that kind of power the government has over your finances? The US government, they just released their latest economic relief package, and it includes billions of dollars for the airline industry. Again, we can see that the government has chosen to provide relief to one particular sector. You can clearly see that the lines between government assistance and government control really begin to blur the more we dissect this issue. Certain businesses received more government aid, some received less, and some were forced to close or face bankruptcy. This issue isn't just related to businesses. Workers also face similar situations depending on where they worked. The government decided who were essential workers and they had to continue to work crazy hours just to keep up with their bills. And many essential workers are either underpaid or make minimum wage. On the other hand, you have some employees laid off or self-employed individuals not working while collecting government checks just to stay home. How many people do you know that made more money sitting at home, not working, collecting money from the government than those who had to show up every day just because the government called them essential workers and they made minimum wage? Here's the thing. I'm not trying to criticize the government. They had to make certain decisions that they felt were right given our circumstances. What I want to highlight is how the economy actually works when the government has full control. The economy essentially becomes a chessboard, and the government can move those chess pieces around wherever they see fit. The lockdowns, it really provided us with an idea of what it would look like if the government were to maintain full control under the Great Reset, New World Order, or whatever else phrase you want to use. I know this sounds like a really grim picture, and the pandemic has shown us things that would have taken a really long time to come to fruition without an accelerator. Should we fear this new economy that the World Economic Forum is pushing? Here's the thing. Human beings are incredibly resilient, and we adapt. That's how we survive. Just think back 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Our economy has continuously changed, and we have continued to adapt along the way. We've been through 2 world wars, the Industrial Revolution, the advent of the internet, the gig economy, and the list goes on. Yes, certain jobs went away, but think of all the jobs that became in demand instead. These new jobs lead to more changes and more adaptation. Questions for me? Drop them in the comments and let me know your thoughts on the Great Reset. And while you're at it, make sure you've hit that like and subscribe button so I know to produce more content like this. That's it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next one.